Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak about a reality that can no longer be ignored: the strategic, economic, and geopolitical significance of India, and why the United States simply cannot afford to lose it. India's rise as a global power is one of the defining developments of the 21st century. With a population surpassing 1.4 billion, it is the world's most populous democracy and the second most populous country overall. This massive population is not merely a statistic, it represents a vast and dynamic workforce, a growing consumer market, and an unparalleled source of human potential. The demographic advantage gives India the ability to influence global economic trends, shape cultural narratives, and drive technological innovation in ways few countries can match. Its young population, with a median age of around 28 years, positions India as a center of energy, creativity, and entrepreneurship. Unlike many aging societies around the world, India's workforce is expanding, not shrinking, providing a long-term engine for economic growth, innovation, and global competitiveness. Economically, India has undergone a remarkable transformation over the past few decades. Its GDP growth has consistently ranked among the highest in the world, driven by a combination of technological innovation, a robust services sector, and a rapidly expanding domestic market. India has become a global hub for information technology, software development, digital services, exporting talent and expertise to countries across the globe. Beyond IT, India is advancing in sectors such as renewable energy, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, and space research, demonstrating its capability to contribute to global solutions in health, sustainability, and innovation. The scale and diversity of India's economy make it an indispensable player in international trade, investment, and development. Global companies recognize India not just as a market to enter, but as a strategic partner for growth, collaboration, and innovation. India's global significance is also deeply tied to its geopolitical position. Strategically located in the heart of the Indo-Pacific region, India serves as a critical counterbalance to rising powers such as China. Its influence extends across Asia and into Africa, Europe, and the Middle East through trade, diplomacy, and cultural connections. India's strategic partnerships with countries like the United States, Japan, and Australia, alongside its active role in multilateral institutions such as the United Nations and the G20, amplify its voice in international decision-making. Its growing defense capabilities and commitment to regional stability make India an essential partner for countries seeking a secure and balanced world order. The nation's geographic location, combined with its political and economic clout, ensures that India will remain central to global strategic calculations for decades to come. Culturally and socially, India wields significant soft power. Its rich history, diverse traditions, and global diaspora have created a worldwide cultural footprint. From cuisine and cinema to literature and philosophy, the Indian diaspora, which numbers over 30 million worldwide, serves as a bridge between India and other nations, fostering economic ties, innovation, and cultural exchange. This global presence strengthens India's influence in shaping international norms, ideas, and partnerships. India's global significance is multi-dimensional. It is not just a regional power in South Asia, but a country whose economic, demographic, technological, and cultural influence spans the world. Its growth and stability are critical not only for the region, but for the broader international community. Countries that recognize India's importance and cultivate strong relationships with it stand to gain strategically, economically, and culturally. Conversely, those that underestimate its rise risk missing opportunities and misjudging the shifting balance of global power. India's potential is immense, and the world is increasingly turning to it as a key player in shaping the future. India's role as a strategic ally in the Indo-Pacific region has grown in significance over the past decade, reflecting both its rising national capabilities and the shifting dynamics of global power. The Indo-Pacific, encompassing the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, along with the interconnected economies and political entities, has become the focal point of global trade, security, and strategic competition. The United States and its allies recognize that maintaining stability and peace in this region is essential for global economic growth and security. Within this context, India emerges as a natural partner for the U.S., offering a combination of geographical advantage, military capability, and shared democratic values that few other countries can match. Geographically, India occupies a central and commanding position in the Indo-Pacific. Its long coastline, strategic ports, and proximity to critical sea lanes make it a pivotal player in the security and stability of maritime trade routes. These sea lanes carry a significant portion of global commerce, including energy supplies and essential raw materials. Any disruption along these routes could have far-reaching consequences for the global economy. India's geographic position allows it to monitor and, if necessary, help secure these vital pathways, acting as a stabilizing force in a region that faces both traditional and non-traditional security threats, including piracy, territorial disputes, and the growing influence of China. Strategically, India has been steadily expanding its defense capabilities and partnerships. Its military modernization programs, investment in advanced technology, and growing naval strength have made it a capable force in the Indo-Pacific. Joint exercises with the United States, Japan, Australia, and other regional powers enhance interoperability and send a clear signal of commitment to collective security. These partnerships are not just symbolic, they reflect a shared understanding that a balance of power is essential to deter coercion and maintain freedom of navigation. The Quad, a strategic grouping of the US, India, Japan, and Australia, exemplifies India's pivotal role in creating a cooperative framework aimed at ensuring security, economic growth, and a rules-based international order in the region. India's strategic value is further amplified by its position as a reliable democratic partner. While several countries in the Indo-Pacific pursue authoritarian or expansionist policies, India offers a model of a pluralistic, democratic nation capable of projecting stability and governance. This shared commitment to democracy and the rule of law strengthens trust between the U.S. and India, forming a foundation for cooperation that extends beyond military alignment to include trade, technology, and diplomatic initiatives. India's status as a democracy also enhances the credibility of any coalition or alliance in the region, as it signals that partnerships are grounded in shared principles rather than mere expediency. India's role in the Indo-Pacific is equally critical. Its integration into regional trade networks, burgeoning manufacturing sector, and rapidly growing middle class position it as both a market and a production hub. Collaboration between the U.S. and India in these areas not only fosters economic growth for both countries, but also strengthens the economic resilience of the region as a whole. By working closely with India, the U.S. can help create alternative supply chains, support technological innovation, and ensure that the Indo-Pacific remains open and competitive rather than dominated by a single power. India's strategic importance in the Indo-Pacific cannot be overstated. Its geography, military strength, democratic governance, and economic potential combine to make it an indispensable partner for the United States and other like-minded nations. Strengthening ties with India ensures that the Indo-Pacific remains stable, prosperous, and free, while neglecting this relationship risks ceding influence to powers whose goals may not align with global peace and shared prosperity. As the world navigates the challenges of the 21st century, India's position as a strategic ally in the Indo-Pacific will continue to shape the regional and global balance of power. India represents one of the most compelling economic opportunities in the world today, offering potential for growth, investment, and innovation that is difficult to match elsewhere. Its economy has grown rapidly over the past few decades, transforming India from a largely agrarian society into a dynamic and diversified global player. With a GDP consistently ranking among the top 10 in the world, India has become a hub for technology, services, manufacturing, and trade, attracting attention from businesses, investors, and governments worldwide. This economic transformation has not been accidental. It reflects a combination of favorable demographics, policy reforms, entrepreneurship, and integration into the global economy. One of India's most significant economic advantages is its population. With over 1.4 billion people, it is not only a vast consumer market, but also a reservoir of talent and human capital. The country has one of the youngest populations in the world, with a median age of approximately 28 years. This demographic dividend translates into a labor force that is energetic, adaptable, and increasingly skilled, particularly in sectors like information technology, engineering, healthcare, and digital services. For international companies, this offers an unparalleled opportunity to tap into a workforce capable of driving innovation, reducing production costs, and expanding operations in ways that are increasingly competitive on a global scale. India's technology and innovation sectors are among its most promising areas for economic opportunity. The country is a global leader in software development, IT services, and digital solutions, with companies providing cutting-edge products and services to clients worldwide. Beyond IT, India is making rapid strides in areas such as renewable energy, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, space exploration, and artificial intelligence. This innovation ecosystem not only contributes to India's economic growth, but also positions the country as a partner in solving global challenges. From climate change to healthcare access, collaborative ventures with Indian companies offer U.S. and global firms a chance to participate in next-generation technologies and tap into a growing consumer base hungry for modern products and services. The rise of India's middle class is another key driver of economic opportunity, currently numbering over 300 million people. This segment of the population is experiencing increasing purchasing power, greater access to education, and a growing appetite for consumer goods, financial services, and technology. This expanding middle class creates a demand-driven economy that encourages domestic production, foreign investment, and international trade. For businesses seeking long-term growth, India provides a market with both scale and dynamism, allowing companies to develop tailored products and services that can achieve wide adoption. Trade and investment opportunities in India are also enhanced by its integration into global supply chains and commitment to economic reforms. The government has introduced initiatives such as Make in India to promote manufacturing, Digital India to expand technology infrastructure, and reforms in taxation and foreign investment policies to attract international capital. These policies have made India more accessible to foreign investors and have facilitated a business environment that is increasingly competitive and predictable. The country's strategic location in the Indo-Pacific also provides a gateway to other emerging markets in Asia, creating opportunities for regional trade and collaboration. India's economic opportunities extend beyond traditional business metrics to encompass innovation in governance, urban development, and sustainable development. The country is investing in smart cities, renewable energy, and digital infrastructure, providing avenues for public-private partnerships and international collaboration. By engaging with India economically, countries like the United States not only access a growing market, but also contribute to initiatives that shape global economic resilience, technological advancement, and sustainable development. India's economic opportunities are vast, multi-dimensional, and interconnected with its broader role on the world stage. Its young population, technological innovation, growing middle class, and policy reforms make it an ideal partner for investment, trade, and collaboration. Countries and businesses that recognize India's potential stand to benefit from long-term growth, innovation, and access to one of the most dynamic markets on the planet. While neglecting these opportunities risks being left behind in the rapidly evolving global economy. The United States and India share a profound connection grounded not only in strategic interests and economic opportunities, but also in a commitment to democratic values, freedom, and the rule of law. This shared foundation is a cornerstone of their partnership, shaping the way both nations engage with each other and with the wider world. While many countries pursue power through coercion or authoritarianism, the U.S. and India represent a model of governance based on individual liberty, accountability, and participatory decision-making. This alignment of principles strengthens bilateral relations and provides a platform for global leadership in promoting democracy, human rights, and inclusive development. India's democratic journey is remarkable in both scale and resilience. As the world's largest democracy, India conducts elections involving hundreds of millions of voters, managing a complex and diverse society that spans multiple languages, religions, and ethnicities. The peaceful transfer of power, robust civil society, independent judiciary, and free press all contribute to a system that upholds accountability and transparency. These democratic structures are not merely symbolic, they actively shape policy, safeguard individual freedoms, and encourage citizen participation. For the United States, which has long championed democratic ideals, India represents a natural partner in advancing governance systems that prioritize the people over autocracy. Shared democratic values between the two nations also create a strong foundation for collaboration on global challenges. In an era marked by geopolitical uncertainty, climate change, and technological disruption, democratic nations have the advantage of openness, adaptability, and a commitment to international norms. The U.S. and India, working together, can advocate for rules-based international order, promote human rights, and set global standards in areas such as cybersecurity, trade, and environmental sustainability. This partnership demonstrates that democracy is not only a domestic framework, but also a tool for fostering stability and cooperation on the international stage. The cultural and societal dimensions of shared democracy further deepen this bond. Both nations embrace pluralism, diversity, and the protection of minority rights. These principles foster societies that are inclusive, innovative, and resilient. They encourage dialogue, debate, and compromise, allowing both nations to navigate internal and external challenges while maintaining legitimacy and public trust. This ideological alignment provides the U.S. and India with a unique ability to collaborate on global initiatives while serving as a model for other countries striving to balance development with democratic governance. Beyond principles, shared democratic values underpin practical cooperation in areas such as defense, technology, trade, and education. A mutual commitment to transparency, accountability, and rule of law facilitates partnerships that are predictable, reliable, and sustainable. For example, agreements on defense cooperation are strengthened by trust and shared norms, ensuring that joint exercises, technology transfers, and intelligence sharing are conducted with mutual respect and legal safeguards. Similarly, collaboration in science, technology, and higher education thrives in an environment where openness, academic freedom, and innovation are valued. This shared commitment to democracy reinforces the moral and strategic appeal of the U.S.-India partnership. In a world where authoritarian models are gaining influence, the alliance of two major democracies sends a powerful message. Governance based on consent, liberty, and justice is not only viable, but essential for global peace and prosperity. Strengthening democratic ties encourages other nations to adopt principles of accountability and human rights, fostering a global ecosystem that values freedom over coercion. The shared democratic values between the United States and India are far more than a philosophical alignment. They form the very basis of a durable, multifaceted partnership. By promoting freedom, pluralism, and the rule of law at home and abroad, both nations reinforce each other's strategic, economic, and moral positions. These shared ideals provide a platform for collaboration, global leadership, and stability in an increasingly complex world. The U.S.-India relationship demonstrates that democracy is not only a domestic achievement, but a global asset capable of shaping a more just, stable, and prosperous international order. The United States cannot afford to underestimate the importance of India, because neglecting this relationship carries risks that are strategic, economic, and geopolitical in nature. In an increasingly multipolar world, influence is neither permanent nor guaranteed. Countries that fail to actively engage with rising powers risk ceding opportunities and allowing adversaries to gain footholds that could undermine long-term interests. India, with its vast population, growing economy, strategic location, and democratic governance, is too significant to be taken for granted. Any complacency or delay in strengthening the U.S. India partnership could result in lost opportunities, weakened influence, and diminished capacity to shape global affairs strategically. Neglecting India could have immediate consequences in the Indo-Pacific and beyond. The region is witnessing heightened competition among major powers, particularly with China expanding its economic and military presence. India serves as a counterbalance to this influence, supporting stability, freedom of navigation, and a rules-based international order. Should the U.S. fail to engage proactively, India may be forced to seek alternative partnerships or adopt a more neutral stance, which could erode the balance of power and create security vulnerabilities. The Indo-Pacific is too critical to global trade and security for the United States to risk losing a key partner at a time when cooperation is most needed. Economically, neglecting India could mean missing one of the largest growth markets in the world, with a middle class expanding by hundreds of millions and a digital economy that is rapidly maturing. India represents immense opportunities for trade, investment, and innovation. Failing to deepen economic ties could allow other nations, especially China, to dominate key sectors, supply chains, and emerging technologies. American companies that delay engagement risk losing market share, innovation partnerships, and competitive advantage. In a global economy defined by speed and connectivity, neglecting India is equivalent to leaving vast potential untapped while rivals capitalize on it. Diplomatically, the risk of neglect extends to international alliances and norms. India's participation in multilateral forums like the G20, the United Nations, and regional organizations shapes decisions on climate, trade, and security. A disengaged U.S. risks ceding influence in these forums, reducing its ability to advance policies that reflect democratic values, human rights, and global stability. Moreover, as authoritarian models gain traction in some regions, neglecting democratic partners like India could weaken the credibility of alliances that promote freedom and rule of law. Active engagement with India strengthens both countries' moral and strategic positions, while neglect erodes trust and influence. Another dimension of risk involves the long-term perception of the U.S.-India relationship. India is a proud, independent nation that expects mutual respect and consistent partnership. Neglect or indifference could be interpreted as a lack of commitment, leading India to diversify its strategic and economic relationships with other global powers. Once trust is diminished, rebuilding it can take years or even decades, leaving the United States at a disadvantage in shaping regional and global outcomes. The consequences of inaction are not theoretical, they are practical and immediate, affecting trade, security, and global influence. The risk of neglect carries moral implications. The United States has historically positioned itself as a defender of democracy, human rights, and free societies. India, as the world's largest democracy, embodies these values on a massive scale. Failing to support and partner with India undermines America's credibility in promoting democracy globally. Strengthening ties with India is not just a strategic or economic choice, it is a reaffirmation of shared principles and a commitment to the global order that values freedom over coercion. Neglecting India is a risk the United States cannot afford. From strategic security in the Indo-Pacific to economic growth, diplomatic influence, and the moral authority of democratic values, the consequences of inaction are profound. The United States must actively invest in this partnership, deepen cooperation, and demonstrate consistent commitment. The stakes are too high, the opportunities too significant, and the consequences of neglect too severe. Engaging India decisively is not optional. It is essential for shaping a secure, prosperous, and stable future. The United States stands at a critical juncture in its relationship with India, and decisive action is required to secure a future that is stable, prosperous, and aligned with shared values. This is not a call for symbolic gestures or temporary measures, but for a comprehensive, strategic, and sustained partnership that recognizes India's importance across multiple dimensions: strategic, economic, technological, and moral. The time for hesitation has passed. The world is changing rapidly, and the United States must actively invest in its relationship with India to maintain influence, ensure security, and foster shared prosperity. First, the United States must strengthen its diplomatic engagement with India at all levels. diplomatic visits, strategic dialogues, and multilateral collaboration should be intensified to ensure continuous communication and coordination on issues of global importance. This includes regional security, trade agreements, technological cooperation, climate action, and international governance. Consistent, high-level engagement signals that the United States values India as a strategic partner, respects its sovereignty, and is committed to long-term collaboration. Diplomatic engagement should not be limited to governments alone. It must extend to civil society, academia, and cultural exchanges to deepen understanding and foster people-to-people ties. Second, economic cooperation between the two countries must be prioritized and expanded. India's growing market, technological innovation, and entrepreneurial ecosystem present enormous opportunities for American companies and investors. The United States should work to remove barriers to trade, enhance investment frameworks, and support joint ventures in areas such as technology, manufacturing, renewable energy, and digital infrastructure. Collaborative projects that leverage India's human capital and innovation capabilities can create jobs, stimulate growth, and ensure that both nations remain competitive in the global economy. Ignoring these economic opportunities risks ceding them to other nations that are eager to establish influence in India's dynamic market. Third, the United States must reinforce military and strategic cooperation with India. Joint exercises, intelligence sharing, and defense technology collaboration should be deepened to ensure interoperability and readiness. This is particularly important in the Indo-Pacific region, where maintaining balance and deterring coercive actions is crucial. By working closely with India on security initiatives, the U.S. not only enhances regional stability, but also strengthens a partnership based on shared principles and mutual trust. Coordinated efforts in maritime security, counterterrorism, and cyber defense are essential to protect both nations' interests and ensure a rules-based international order. Fourth, technological collaboration is a critical area for action. India's advancements in software, artificial intelligence, space exploration, and biotechnology offer opportunities for joint innovation that can address global challenges. From climate change solutions to healthcare technology and digital infrastructure, U.S.-India collaboration can accelerate progress in ways that neither country could achieve alone. Investment in research partnerships, knowledge exchange programs, and innovation hubs can solidify India as a key partner in the global technology ecosystem. The United States must recognize that partnership with India is not merely transactional, it is also moral and ideological. Both nations share a commitment to democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. Strengthening this alliance sends a clear message to the world that democratic values are not optional. They are essential for peace, security, and global prosperity. Supporting India's growth, security, and global engagement is a reaffirmation of the shared principles that underpin a stable and just international order. The call to action is clear and urgent. The United States must act decisively to strengthen its relationship with India through diplomatic engagement, economic partnership, strategic cooperation, technological collaboration, and moral alignment. This is a comprehensive approach that addresses immediate needs while building a foundation for long-term collaboration. The cost of inaction is too high, and the stakes for global security, prosperity, and democratic values are immense. By investing fully in this partnership, the United States can ensure a future that is safer, stronger, and more aligned with the principles of freedom, innovation, and shared progress. The time to act is now, and the commitment must be unwavering.